It's the end of what was a 8-week summer, 12-week for a freshman. I think it's always an exciting time to get through the summer, let these guys go home, enjoy some of mom's home cooked meals, sleep in their own bed, see family, and then really get re-energized for the start of fall. They'll obviously be back in here on the 21st, and yet it's been a very productive summer. All the freshmen except Ty, the other 3 were here for 12 weeks. That paid dividends. We've seen that in the weight room. We've seen it with weight gain. Sky is cleared. He's 100%. That happened a week ago. So really a significant summer for him in terms of his growth and the mental piece. He had his best workout of the year, his last one yesterday. And so seen significant growth and Sincere in terms of adding weight, and Jaden's improvement and strength gain has been well received. So Ty joined us obviously after his gold medal performance with USA Basketball, and just jumped right in and fit perfectly. So good summer, and I thought we touched on a lot of things team-wise, especially on the defensive side. But the biggest thing is getting those guys in the weight room. Obviously, we did not have Zach. Zach is playing. Jeff just got home this morning from Turkey, watching Zach play with the French national team, the U18s. He had a great day today with 18 and 13. They're a very, very good team. Couldn't win it. And Jeff thought he was in line to possibly be the MVP if they did win it. So we're still going through all the admissions and I-20 stuff with him in his process, but expect him here for the start of school as the World Championships then end this weekend. So we got a couple weeks off, and we'll expect him here late August. So great summer. It was a shorter summer with Matt. Matt got in after he finished his degree at Baylor. Got in the middle of July, and then fought a few little nagging back things that kept him out some. But we'll have him full go and ready to blow and go, so to speak, in August. So great summer, excited. It's quickly upon us, but right now it's about everybody kind of catching your breath, getting a little time away, and that's good for the coaches as well. And we have the mandatory dead period coming up on the 6th, and so plan to all of us take advantage of that during this time.
What's the I-20 stuff that you mentioned with Zach?
It's just admissions process. The university has to issue an I-20, and he has to be fully admitted. He has to be through the clearinghouse eligibility center. That allows him to then set his appointment with the embassy in France to get into school. So it's just a procedural thing that has to happen with all international students.
What kind of catching up does Sky have to do yet?
No, he's in a pretty good place. He's in a pretty good place. Conditioning-wise is his biggest challenge. Being limited, he worked extremely hard. Talking with Paul Schmidt and Fletch, they were extremely impressed with his work ethic, his dedication to getting that back and 100% healthy. I think that gives him tremendous confidence on the mental side. But he's got to have a productive fall in terms of just getting back in shape and at the level that he'll need to be to play.
What are some of the biggest things you learned about your team this summer?
We're long, we're athletic. I think that this group has had a tremendous energy about them that's really refreshing. It's nice to see. I think that this team has tremendous speed and versatility. We've seen that. We've seen all kinds of guys bounce around and experimenting with playing different positions. I think we've got an opportunity to be an elite defensive team. We spent a majority of our time on that side of things, just trying to develop chemistry and those sort of things. But our ability to do different things on that side of the court, it really excites me.
Were Matt's back issue something you thought were going to be a problem coming in, or is that something that
Yeah,
cropped
it's
up?
just muscular. It wasn't anything significant. So it was just a matter of, he hadn't done anything while he was finishing up and came back, and it was just insignificant.
What will be important for Zach to do when he gets here after missing all summer?
Yeah, it's a really hard adjustment. I don't downplay that. Just coming to the States, getting acclimated is what our concern is. We'll bring him along slowly. Obviously, his time with Fletch, getting back into shape. Now he's played as much competitive basketball as any of our guys, but just getting up to speed. And we didn't do a ton this summer in terms of X's and O's where he'll feel like he's behind. Where he'll be behind is just terminology, getting up to speed from a chemistry standpoint with the rest of our guys. But again, we want to make sure he's comfortable in his environment. He handles the academic side as well as the basketball side, and all that can be challenging being his first time.
After everything you went through injury-wise last year, is there anything other than Matt and Sky that has concerned you over the summer, or is everybody pretty much good?
Everybody's been great, and I think Fletch feels like we had a great summer. I take tremendous confidence in his opinion and how he feels about our goings on from that side of things. He thinks we made strides where we needed to make them. He thinks our returners got better. RJ was 210 the other day, which is the first time he's hit that mark. A lot of work, a lot of credit goes to Fletch and Palmer for their job, not just in the weight room, but on the nutrition side. And to get RJ from, you're talking 180 pounds when he got here to 210 now. They eat every meal with him. So it's a big piece of the development of our student athletes, and to reach those milestones is really something that's great. And, we saw Dane Deja under 260. Dane's had a terrific summer. He's gone the other way in terms of weight loss. He's built his stamina. He's been running stadium steps every morning. He's been putting himself in position to be in elite shape when the season starts, and it's a lot of hard work to do that.
How are you able to bring Sky along from a basketball standpoint as he worked over the last 12 weeks to get cleared medically?
Yeah, he was able to do individual stuff, and now it's just a matter of he would do possessions. He couldn't go full bore all the time, and so he hasn't missed a ton. He's missed the conditioning piece of the continual running, and now that he's cleared for that, we did a good amount of that the last 2 days in our workouts when he was cleared, and he's looked terrific. So, his conditioning, that'll be the one thing that he'll have to go. He's missed a year of playing, and just that feeling you get of being fatigued and having to push through it, and he's always been stopped because he's never been able to get to that point. But the leg itself is 100%. We saw some of that bounce and quickness and explosion in these last 2 days, and that's exciting to see.
You've often talked about how the time it takes to build defensive comfort with each other and communication. What buy-in have you seen from the freshmen on that, or is that something you have to really sell to them?
No, it's the hardest part on the defensive side is getting guys to communicate. We have a saying, quiet teams lose, and freshmen are undecisive or indecisive in sometimes what to say. And so the communication piece of it is just helping them understand what to say. This is a willing group on the defensive side. Sincere, Ty Rogers, those guys have take so much pride. Jaden Epps, great pride in what they do on that side of things, and we talk about it. That's the difference between playing and not playing a lot is what you do on the defensive side. So they've all three been, and again, Sky will be that once he's in those things now. But I take a lot of comfort knowing those guys are willing to work on that end, and they know they've got to do that to play.
Brad, this guy's been pretty open and adamant in the videos you guys have put out about his hesitancy about the leg throughout this whole deal. It's one thing to be healthy, it's another thing to be back. How are you gonna try to guide him through that?
The biggest piece is knowing that he's healthy.
Okay.
And you know, I think we've seen a freed up, and I say that from a mental side, we've seen Sky freed up the last 2 days, just knowing, okay, he tested out, his leg is actually stronger than the other one. The doctor said you're good, and there's a tremendous comfort in that. And until you hear that, you're always a little bit cautious. And now it's just a matter of him playing. But we've seen that the last 2 days. He's not guarded. He's people think with an ACL it's just running and jumping. It's actually stopping and turning and pivoting, and those things were, you know, you come off a ball screen and you gotta pivot on that foot to turn and shoot a jump shot. And boy, we saw him pop up yesterday and shoot two and elevate, and it was you know, it was the Sky I saw 2 years ago, and so it's great to see that, and I think he's through that mental piece, and he feels great about it, knowing he's 100%.
Did you get an idea this summer who the shot makers are gonna be for you?
Not really. You know, I think you look at Matt. I think Matt's a guy that has had an uncanny ability his whole career to make hard, tough shots. I think he does it at all three levels. I think he does it off the bounce. I think he does it, you know, with catch and shoot. He can score on the post. He's got a knack on the offensive glass. I think Terrence Shannon, you know, TJ's a guy that, you know, give him the ball one-on-one, he's a load to handle. And, you know, he's worked really hard. He's been in a 445 every morning. This summer, he shoots 600 threes a day. I think he's improved that aspect of his game leaps and bounds. And he's a guy that, again, we'll need those two veterans. I think you start looking at RJ. I think you start looking at Coleman. Coleman may have, I haven't talked about it, may have been as good as anybody we've had in terms of both ends of the court. So I don't know who it'll be yet, but you know, we got a little time to figure that out.
Do you have anything to say about Coleman's maturation and mentality and how it's grown this summer?
Yeah, we've seen a big change in just his leadership. He's a veteran. We've challenged him with all of those things. His IQ, his feel, we've talked a lot with him about you know, being the leader. We put different emphasis on him. We need him to be a high-minute guy for us. That works in conditioning. That works in his leadership in the weight room. He's never worked harder than he's worked this summer, and that alone is great maturation, and it's showing for him. He's been phenomenal.
Oh, sorry, I guess with Zach, I mean, what's it been kind of like with you guys to kind of see him separate himself in that U18 environment overseas over the last couple of days?
It's pretty fun. It's pretty good to watch. You know, you see a guy that is doing it on the highest stage. That event is filled with pros and future NBA prospects, and you're seeing him do it in a ultra competitive environment. Now, some of their games have been in their pool play have been blowouts, but it's still the best in the world. And you know, his team's very talented. He's surrounded himself with very good players. I love seeing that, because when he gets to this level, he's going to be around other guys who are pros. And you know, I think he had a sequence 2 games ago where he had 4 straight assists. They ran offense through him in short rolls. All those things translate. So he's been, you know, he's been chasing balls on the glass. All those things are things that translate to this level. So, you know, you start doing that at 6'10", 6'11", and you get some positive things in front of him for us.
How beneficial are these workouts from a recruiting standpoint? You can bring in a kid and show him your style of play.
Sure. You know, and we're going an hour or less every day, so it's not the full boat in terms of what they would see in practice. But August 1st, we were able to bring young guys in, and we brought some unofficials in, and for them to have the opportunity to meet our guys and see how hard we work and see how we talk and what our process is here. And we talk a lot about that, and they can start to see how the work then gets translated into development, and that success then is seen on the court. So the more people we can get on campus, the better, and we'll obviously hope to have a very active fall in that area, getting young guys on campus.
Your department put out a poster with 6 wings on it, kind of suggests that you're going to play a lot 5 out. You might see 5 of those guys on the court at the same time.
Absolutely. I don't think there's any question about that. And, I think I think we have tremendous positional size. And what that looks like, I don't know. In terms of, I'm working very hard myself, just not to label guys. The only way I want to label guys is maybe who they can and cannot guard. But on the offensive side, we've had RJ just in as many ball screens as we've had Jaden Epps, and we put Coleman in different positions, and Coleman has been a facilitator. So we've looked at a lot of different things on that side, and really playing positionless, trying to play to matchups. On the defensive side, being able to do a lot of different things with switching and other things that we haven't been able to do. So, I like the concept of a whole bunch of wings that are a little bit different, can do a lot of different things themselves with their skill sets.
On that note, do you envision a team that in the box score would be much more distributed in terms of points and rebound assists and all that, as opposed to what you had in Io and Kofi?
Yeah, I think you always play to. I think you always play to your strengths. There's no doubt. Obviously, Kofi was a dominant piece with a matchup, no matter who he had, and within 5 feet of the rim. I think we put Io in 75-76% of our ball screens, knowing he was going to facilitate and make the right decisions, and that there'll be some level of that. I think there always is. I think you want to get your best players in their best and most comfortable positions to try to score, and yet I'm all in favor of 5, 6, 7 guys in double figures. I think that's the ultimate sign of a great team.
Just given that you guys are going to play differently, is there a new terminology for your 5 returners to learn, or is there carryover so it's not like starting relatively fresh with them?
There's enough carryover in what we're trying to do, and yet it's we actually spent some time last summer doing some 5-out stuff and not knowing if we had Kofi back. So it's not the first time they've totally seen it, but to this level, and I mean, we're using some different techniques, which are new to everybody, but playing basketball is playing basketball, and Coleman understands, and RJ and Luke, and those guys are all pretty comfortable with what we're doing.